Hello and welcome to episode 14 of our Timberborn 1.0 full release playthrough with the Folktales faction on the Down the Plug Hole map, cycle 20, day 24. Got 1.3 days left in our current drought cycle, and we've made some pretty great progress in the past episode or so, despite some of the challenges we've come across. We do have this floodgate system just about finished up. That's going to make this whole area nice and irrigated. Allow us to grow some more trees. We planted some more trees over here. This area obviously is lacking for water, but I'd like to do something kind of similar over here. If I can figure out exactly where I want that to go. Based on the levels I'm seeing here, it might make the most sense to maybe right about here. Just very cleanly divide this with some double floodgates, set to 1.95 meters. That'll keep this nice and irrigated, so these trees can grow, and then to a limited degree, some of these as well. Let's get this on triple speed. Since we do have zip lines, we don't need to keep all of these paths connected. That was something you guys have been saying for a while, and I just kind of didn't do anything about it. But these three right here will allow us to do plenty here once that is coming back in. That's now taken care of. We also built the monstrosity. And, yes. I did originally think I had placed these one level too low, but they are actually exactly the same. And there were a couple comments that said this was in the wrong spot, but they are actually correct. I know it looks kind of weird without the stuff being finished, but it is actually good to go. We are making a tremendous quantity of books because I did not have these paused at all. We obviously don't need to have everything making books. And we don't need to have everything making punch cards either. However, consider... one, we've already been making these things, and the storage is just about full. So I'm just going to let them finish filling up the storage and then hit pause on the buildings. But books, we can definitely keep 2 of these making books. I think that is a worthwhile thing. I'll let them, when Cycle 21 starts, I'll let them go back to work here on the printing press that's making the punch cards, but I don't think they're going to be able to make any more. And if that's the case, then I'll just shut them down. But there's still plenty of stuff that we can get into, and I would like to, hopefully today, focus on building out the dam rebuild over by the big explosion area, and then maybe starting on that sewer thing that I'd been talking about for a couple of episodes. But it looks like this is just about done. Yeah, I'm gonna call both these done, so let's hit pause there. I'm going to leave these, like I said, so the beavers get that nice bonus. But coming back to this area, we set up a tremendous amount, and I do mean tremendous amount of power with these water wheels. And this is capable, in peak form, of outputting about 14 or 15,000 HP. And I proposed, well, how do we connect it to everywhere? Then more than a couple of you reminded me that we do already have a connection like this. It's just currently filled with thorns. So we got to get rid of those. That will be on the list of things to do. But like I was saying, I think it's going to be a little bit more benefit for us to repair this area and kind of re-engineer it to a certain degree. I think it is probably worth expanding this to be 2 blocks wide. We could, in theory, just do this by putting in some additional tunnels. There's really no reason why we couldn't, but it's not going to look very clean, and I do want them to be able to get the rest of these ruins out of the way so we could actually use the scrap metal. But because we're going to have bad water coming through here, I don't want to have the beavers running around grabbing these things out, so I do think it's probably going to make the most sense to just continue building these out with tunnels, even though it's a little bit more quote-unquote wasteful with materials. I think it's achievable, depending on how we want to play the game here. And we'll let them, we'll let them take care of that as time goes by. It might not be a thing we do right now. Might have to wait until we have a drought. But in terms of rebuilding this, I'm honestly just going to kind of keep this stair-step thing going all the way across. Rebuild the inside. But there is some more legwork we're going to have to do on this back side here to try and lower the badwater down a little bit more. We can have a little bit of a reservoir there. That will, with the help of a flow valve, throttling valve, kind of meter out all the bad water through these wheels so that maybe it outputs a little bit less power, but it's more consistent. That, of course, is going to require some work and sending beavers down here on some scaffolding. But what might make it just a tiny bit easier, and I know it's going to take us a long time to get over here, but putting a temporary, cap on some of this stuff, if it ends up being a problem, might be something we need to do. But let's take a moment to think about this here. If I come all the way down to this level, I'm going to have this come out this way. I think, long term, I'm going to want this to also be blasted out. But I'd like to get the scrap metal off of it first. I do know that it will just disappear the scrap metal if I have a thing directly underneath it. I know that's a thing that will happen, but I'd like to keep this. And that's also, kind of symmetrical. But what's going to help us here is this space right here has an opportunity to go down 2 blocks. These 2. And then I can take that platform out as well. If we just make this at least here, and then, depending on how we want to do it, maybe right here. I'll go all the way down, and at the very bottom of that, after we blast this hole out, we put throttling valves. I think one here and one on this side should allow us to take care of that. And then I can allow this to be a 5 wide here, 5 wide here, and then slowly fill this in, of course, leaving space for this input here. And I do hope you can understand what I'm saying here. I try very hard to try and there you go. I try to explain things. I'm not always good at words, but hopefully it makes sense when I actually put it into practice here. But I do think this is going to make the most sense here. I know putting in terrain can be kind of a pain. And yes, I know the arrows do something I have never in 5 years figured out how to do it correctly, and no amount of you attempting to explain it is probably going to help. That's just the way it is. I genuinely do not intend to mean it as like an insult or a slight to anybody. I've never been able to figure it out. So I'm just going to do it 1 block at a time. But since we, don't have the ability to get down here without getting contaminated, we either have to send bots, or we have to wait for a drought, or we have to build incredibly complicated scaffolding. We fortunately do have a path all the way over here already. It probably is going to make more sense for us to get down here. Maybe I just want to do something like this. To get down to this general area, put in some sort of a zipline station. It's going to give us good access. Now, I know this isn't really, in a good position for us to do much with it. But I think it's going to be worth popping something in here. I can build that. I can get that connected. And then I can just have this come. It doesn't have to go, all the way to one of these things. It can just be kind of close. But something that will help. And not just be a huge pain in the butt is the goal here. Now, if I want this to be... I'm assuming this will reach. Why don't you make all these stations? Those are more expensive, and we're probably not going to need to, get at too much of this, is my thinking behind that. So if I manage to put one... Okay, right here I could actually reach a little bit easier. How much more expensive is that? Okay, it's actually not... it's actually not tremendously more expensive. It uses different things. Yeah, well... I also, I'm not married to the idea of doing absolutely everything like this. I just want it to work. That is, that's goal number one. And is that something just works. You know, that's not always a very easy thing. But that's going to allow them to build that, and then they can already reach this, they can already reach that, and they can already reach this. That's going to make it a really, really fast method of getting over here and starting the process of getting this cleaned up. So, remember what I said. This level here is going to be the level that everything drains down to. That's just because that's where it exits. I maybe could have gone all the way down, but I decided not to. That becomes a single. That becomes a single. We probably can also get rid of all of that. Just turn this into a giant slush area. I might also eventually need to make this a slightly bigger thing. But I think for right now, I probably don't need to. Let's put a triple there. We'll fill the rest of this in. I just want to lay the groundwork, if at all possible, for this to not be a complete disaster when I actually get around to having them do it. So this is going to get them down here. That still does not solve the problem of help. We need scaffolding, but we have the ability, and I want to try and use as little metal as possible because we're still not really set up great for metal. I want them to be able to get across things, which means without using metal, we have to use these suspension bridges. And the 6x1 is what we have unlocked, but I have enough science to just go ahead and get the rest of these. I think the 5x1s are going to allow me to get across here all the way. Not quite. Okay, so a 5x1 and a 6x1 gets us to the other side. We can come down a little bit more. Now, if I put one here, you'll see it can actually reach all of these pieces of dirt. Oh, come on. And then if I do the same on that side, it can reach all of those pieces of dirt. It can't reach the middle here. But that is okay, because I can come over here with a 6x1 and pop that in there. And now this guy, if I peel this back a little bit, can reach most of this. Should be able to reach both of these if I put a staircase down to here. If not, then we'll fix that. But we're getting there. With the somewhat limited resources we do have access to easily at this point in time, I think we're going to be okay. We just got to let them do what they got to do, trust the process, move on, etc., so on and so forth. So this does, of course, require that we put in access to this area. It gets substantially easier when you actually connect everything. That'll go there. Same kind of deal here. Although the way this is looking, I think we're going to want to have a set of spirals there. Just makes that a tiny bit easier. And we will see exactly what else we can get ourselves into. Gonna have to come that way. Remember, I'm trying not to use as much metal as I can. So we are going to end up with some weird, or I guess substandard setups here that might use a lot of planks. But guess what? We have a lot of planks. So that, friends, is going to be okay. So 6 bridges here. Yeah, that's going to put us in a good spot to do most of what we want to do. Now, I know this looks insane. It's going to be okay, I promise. We just have to, do what we got to do. Did they... Yes, I know this requires metal blocks. That's why I'm trying not to use metal blocks for everything else. And this is the part where I remember that I got rid of all of my metal processing. Yeah, good choices, huh? Is it time to put an underground ruins right here? Or do I still have... Oh, no, we still have a little bit here. Alright, well... I know this seems kind of dumb to do it this way, but... It is what it is. I just need them to make some scrap metal. I just need them to do it. So why don't I change this over to scrap metal? I just need something. Just need something. And this is not going to stay like this. This is just to get us where we need to go. before everything becomes completely impossible. Alright. Look, it's been a very, very long month. Since 1.0 has come out, I've got so much on my plate. It's so hard for me to remember things. Yes. I see this. I see this now. We're done. We're done. I'm absolutely cooked. I don't know how much more of this I got in me. Oh God. Well, you know, I don't take stuff out of videos when I make stupid mistakes, so there you go. That's fuel for the one guy who consistently comments that I'm stupid every time I do a really, really dumb mistake like that. There you go. That one's on me. Let's see. What else can I fix here to try and redeem that? I actually don't know that I've got anything on the notes that's going to help there. I did put in more medical beds, so that's good. Wanted to build a hospital. Haven't done that yet. Probably won't need to for a little while. Saw a really good suggestion. I'm sorry, that's going to take me a while to get over that. I saw a really good suggestion in the comments about integrating storage and new housing into kind of a half above ground, half below ground complex. And I've done similar things in some of the other playthroughs that maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't. But I do want to do something like that. Probably not today, but as this goes on, I do want to make something that looks nice. I can't. I legitimately cannot believe I was that dumb. This is what it is. So these guys are probably actually going to finish this before we get enough metal blocks to build the rest of these things. So the problem here is not that we don't have metal processing, which is what I had assumed after, you know, all of that. The problem is we don't have enough scrap metal, period, point blank. This is kind of far away, but they do have access to the zip lines. That's, I guess, not that bad. Probably a considerable part of this issue is just not having storage for scrap metal over here. And that might be causing these guys to not be able to do what they got to do. Yeah, I mean, there's enough here to do pretty much all of the construction I currently have set up. It's just not it's not set up super great right now. Let's see, what else was I going to say before I did all that? I did want to build the rest of this back up. I want to make sure I've got tunnels for all that. But another part of that is I want to lower this area, blast it out to that same level, all the way down to here, and kind of create, not necessarily a reservoir, but kind of create a lower level sewer type system for the bad water that can actually hold a decent amount and separate it from the clean water that's going to be on top. So, this being a triple, this being a double, means that all of this, and I know we're going to have this already here. It's fine. We'll worry about that later. But the rest of this, these 5 in the middle here, needs to be down as a single all the way here. And we'll, like I said, we'll fix that later. But I'm going to actually kind of straighten this out to a certain extent. All the way down to maybe about here, which is going to mean that this needs to be double. Double here, double there, and then that is going to have to be 2 doubles. Which I guess I could just do is triple here, and then we'll know we have stragglers. But what I'm trying to do, thank you, lag, is get the dirty water organized and down here as fast as possible. Same kind of deal coming from this source and this source and this source. All the way down here. We may end up blasting, not necessarily a tunnel, because that's kind of annoying. But channels at least to try and separate things. Get it all down here. And then build a level, maybe, depending on how we want to do it, depending on what the capacity and the throughput is, right around where I've got these triple platforms, so 4 blocks high, put in some impermeable floors and separate this so we can have clean water on top. That can also flow over a spillway at the top of the dam and power these wheels. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff that has to go right for that to be possible, and we will, of course, get there in due time. So that's basically done. That's waiting, and that is waiting, but we are closer than we were probably. No, this isn't actually built yet. Okay, well, I thought that would have helped. Let's get this finished as soon as we can. I know it's not going to be something we use forever, but it's going to help. How are we looking over here? Because I know I had them. Yeah, okay. This is maybe a little bit high, but it's not going to flood. Look at all this space that we have irrigated. I know when this is, you know, poison coming through here, it's going to be a little bit less. But I'm feeling pretty good. I know the forester doesn't reach all the way over here. That's fine. This has a little bit more room. I wonder if, depending on how I wanted to do this, I wonder if having more terrain in here would help. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it. We got trees in here. These are marked for cutting, before anybody asks. These are just super deprioritized because I don't have enough beavers. Stop me if you've heard that one before. So we just need to have more beavers. And I've been really struggling to come up with a good way to add more beaver housing. But at this point, we just have to do it. We just absolutely have to do it. I just gotta shove it in somewhere and forget about it. Double. Gonna go right there. That'll get us 6 more. That'll help. That is, you know, not a great spot for it, but it's a spot, and that's, I guess, what matters at this point. And don't have access to that. Don't have access to that. Can't really move this around either. Well, adding 1 for right now is probably about as much as you want to do at one time anyway, because then you get weird birth waves and death waves, and nobody wants that. Okay. I probably also do not need to have all of these running. I'm going to cut this down to a single printing press, which, you know, every 1.6 hours we get 2 sheets of paper, and every 1.5 hours this consumes 1. So I'm going to turn off that as well. Feel pretty good about what we're doing. We don't have enough scrap metal coming in right now to really justify having 4 of these running. So I'm going to turn off 2 of them. See, these are fine. They should be, yeah. That helps us out a tiny bit. And this should help even out. I know most of the vacancies are just builder's hut hauling post here, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's just one of those things. Now we got these guys coming over here, actually, with a pretty decent speed. And also, part of the reason I wanted to do this like this is so I could identify if I would need to expand the throttling valve setup beyond just 1 here and 1 here. It seems like the current, we'll call them the current holes in this dam area, we have 1 here, might not be enough. But I didn't want to have it be too many at one time, because then that makes it a little bit more complicated, right? Well, at least this is going reasonably well. We're bringing dirt in place to fill in unnecessary gaps. And then, obviously, we want to get beavers down in here to get rid of these, but that is a little bit more complicated because there is bad water here, and I don't want to send them in until we have a drought or we have something else worked out here. So I think this is another one of those things we can just probably leave alone for the most part. Maybe start making inroads toward these areas so that we can have the option to turn things off, but remember, it's not super cheap to build bad water domes. We may want one of them to be a rig too, but I don't know that's going to be that big of a deal. Since we're here, if I can remember what mouse button does what, there you go. If we're going to be building a, we'll call it a subterranean reservoir for bad water, it might be a smart idea to build a completely sealed off underground room for pumping said bad water with just regular pumps. That is bad water access controlled with a throttling valve, or possibly a fill valve. Yeah, fill valve would be better. so that the water level in the room is never greater than a certain height. Then you place the pumps on a platform that is higher than that height, so theoretically the room can never flood. I think that would be fun. That would be a neat thing to add, so I'm probably going to do that. I also need to make sure that when I'm putting all of this separation in here that I have this aquifer completely separate. It can't be any higher, or the thing I'm trying to do can't be any higher than this in this spot because well, the aquifer has to be there. So we'll see how that goes. Have we depleted this yet? Almost. We're very close. We are very close. But I was able to get, most of the metal that I thought I needed, and that's fine. This is already looking pretty good. Pretty good. For the sake of growing some stuff over here, I do want to put in a little bit more terrain. Just bring this all the way out to here. No particular reason, just thought it would make sense. Then directly over one of these, I think I can fit another forester, maybe in this spot or something like that. Whatever's going to allow me to have the greatest area to plant. Maybe, yeah, maybe right about here would make sense. Let's do this. Let's put that there. And then I will pop that forester in here. So there's just the tiniest bit of overlap that should not cause problems. And let them, in due time, be what they have to be. I think I can safely get rid of these. There you go. Trust that was sufficiently annoying to listen to. And right there, and right there for right now, I'm just going to put in lumberjack flags. Another one of those areas we can just kind of set and forget. Maybe it's worth filling this in terrain-wise as well. At least a little bit, so we can have more stuff taken care of. Give these guys something to do. I don't think it's worth worrying too much about this. Yeah, just kind of square this off. Maybe this ends up becoming a zipline station a little bit further down the line for efficiency's sake. Not entirely sure that's super worth it, but no matter what, we're just going to do what we can do. We will have to manually add these areas as cuttable after the terrain is in place. That's just how that works. But starting to plant some more trees here, I think, is going to be a smart decision. I'm going to go ahead and put in a staircase probably here. Okay, that's actually minimal benefit. What about there and there? Okay. Yeah, that's, it's something. Maybe unnecessary, maybe not. We'll see. Let's check out the progress over here. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty good. Waiting on what for this? Too far? Oh, that's on me. That's absolutely on me. This is... Wait, what? Why is that connected? Okay. That is also on me. I can't keep track of what I have and have not done. That's pretty bad, huh? Let's see, that's looking okay. Thank you, lag, for that one. I think this is probably fine to set off, so let's K for kaboom. Those two. And then that could cause a flood downstream because of surge, maybe, maybe not. Actually, looks like that's okay. Alright, so we come down this way. And this is where I was going to put those valves that I was talking to you about. I guess let's go ahead and K for kaboom this. Yeah, now we have a little bit of a better better understanding of what this is right here. So that has not reduced the level here, nor was I expecting it to, but it should help funnel things in as we continue filling this area. And I am optimistic that I can do what I've been trying to tell you I can do. So you don't want to do this with the fill valve for obvious reasons, but a throttling valve can be a big help. So if I want the flow limit to be 1 cubic meter per second, CMS, that's what that stands for. I think they did change for 1.0, they did change the terminology to actually there you go, reflect with an L, not an R. That's how you know I'm tired. Start making mistakes like that. What was I saying? I don't remember anymore. Oh yeah, this should be fine. 1.0 to start out with. Obviously, there's no actual accessibility behind this because these things are still in place. But we'll get there. It's going to be alright. I just want to make provisions for having this go all the way through 3 wide, but we can't get there until we have a drought. I'm going to build the rest of this up on top of here, minus this space. I guess all of this can be... Yeah, all of that can be triples. Not triples, what am I saying? I have no idea what I was supposed to be... Oh, hey, look at that. I got a drought coming in. Good, maybe I can actually get that done. I know they can't build all of this from where they are now, but as the drought begins, we'll see this drain, and then we can send beavers down in here. Hopefully it's longer than 4 or 5 days. We can actually make some really, really solid progress on this. So let's leave that alone. We'll come back to this area over here. Yeah, good. Progress is being made. You love to see it. Love to see it. This will need to be marked. I actually can't tell because there's trees in the way, but I think it's probably fine. This is not being cut because I don't have enough beavers. We have established that. We're working on getting those numbers up. Long term, we are going to need more. I know. I know, we're going to be okay. We're not looking great on water. I do think it's about time to put another one of these large pumps in. Yeah, because it's going to make more sense, even if it's not fully staffed, to just have one more of these. Probably makes a little bit more sense that way. I do have ideas to get, you know, more water in this side of the reservoir and keep these guys hydrated, all that. That is one of those things we just have to keep monitoring. I do need them to actually build this, though, so we can get this replenished a little bit faster. It does seem like it's going down. I need more storage. So that was another thing. I wasn't building this because I didn't have enough metal to really do anything else. See, I get so paralyzed by wanting to do something that's good that I don't do anything at all because I don't think it's going to be a decent way to solve a problem. Which is obviously not the ideal scenario. Well, just shut up and get it done. I know. It's the way the world works. Let's get that prioritized. Now that this is in place, even though there's only 1 beaver in here, still getting 5 water per hour versus putting in a normal pump where you'd get 3. I think we've talked about that before. But the flow rate coming through here should already be starting to decrease because we're approaching the drought there. I think by about the time this starts, it should almost be safe to send beavers into this area right here just by the amount of nothing that's over here. So we'll just have to let this drain as it will. Give them a little bit more time. And then once that's done, and I'm confident that we can get this blasted out, I can probably take this piece of terrain and this piece of terrain out, grant them access to it, really hope they get this done before the water comes back, and then we should be in okay shape. Yeah, so you can see the power supply slowly trickling down. I forgot to click on it when it was, you know, actually fully going. But we were making tons and tons and tons of power. So that should be fine. Yeah, see how this is basically no longer moving up here? That means it is about to evaporate. There it goes. Look at that. Look at all of that progress just super fast. That is encouraging. Just give them a little bit more time. Oh, I think it's probably safe now, since it's the end of the workday, to go ahead and pop in 2 tunnel pieces there, grant them access to this, and let that be what it's going to be. Yeah, I am going to deeply prioritize all of this. There we go. And hopefully we get a nice long drought. No, nobody ever says that one, right? Okay, 8 days. I'll take it. I'll take 8 days. Yeah, this is already low enough where I think we're going to be exactly where we want to be. Don't forget I also have to get this area removed, but one of my main goals is to get this scrap metal out of here. I know I've got these scavenger flags on this side. There's not currently a good way to access those. So what is going to make sense, at least the most amount of sense right now, is to put in 2 of these right here. Let them get to what they need to get to. And just prepare as much as we can. So we know that this has basically already done everything it can do. I'm not going to feel bad about taking this out or this out, which means that, and that can also go away. Which then means I can come back behind here, put in the singles, which they should... Oh, no, you know what? That one was on me. I had thought they should be able to stick stuff in here, but I got rid of the platforms they were standing on. That needed to actually stay. Well, once that's good, should be in decent shape. And if I know I'm not going to need more than 2 of the throttling valves, we'll have to check input versus output, see if that ends up flooding or not. I do not want the bad water to ever flood. You know, actually it would have been a good idea to put one of those, what's that thing called? The flow gauge? Oh, they moved that to automation. Or did they... No, did they not? Was it decoration? Oh, okay. Stream gauge. So because seeing what the flow in cubic meters per second actually was before setting this here. But this will allow you to go, you know, unlimited, which, you know, theoretically is only bound by the volume of the space that it's in. But that's basically 2 CMS. We'll see. We will have to see what happens here. I know this isn't accessible here. That's probably going to necessitate us having a staircase down here. Just the easiest way to do it, honestly. Get somebody in here who can actually do something about it. Send that down this way. Should be able to reach just about all of this. Got a decent number of builders. I think we're looking okay. We're taking these things out. See, this is already... I mean, I can get rid of this. I don't really need to, but... I think what's going to be a better option here is to... Let's take this out so this can match. That's fine. There's not really any specific reason to have this set up like this, but, you know, I like things to match. Because I'm weird. Thank you, lag, doing that once again. Just get these blasted out as fast as possible. And I suppose since these aren't actually... Well, technically it is structural, but I'd like to see if that's actually going to cause significant damage. I know I'm not going to be doing it right now. I just want to see what is going... Okay, well there's scrap metal up there. Okay, we won't do that right now. I think this is fine. The most important thing is that we get this situation figured out, which, no matter what, does need to have a piece transplanted in there. Does need to have this added up top. And then the maximum height here is actually this same thing. So, I think we don't want to use terrain blocks for the top of this. We want to have a cavern space. So, if we wanted to use minimal metal, we'd just have to put a bunch of platforms everywhere, which doesn't seem ideal. And we'd still need one piece of metal for each impermeable floor on top. But that would allow us to have the most volume underneath, although it might not matter that we have volume. Maybe I'm overthinking it. It's honestly, I should put that on a t-shirt at this point. It's probably fine. Yeah, because this is higher up here. That's not going to be... Alright. One step at a time. Don't make it too complicated. We will start with this. So we can always build from above for most of this. But the hardest part is going to be getting down in here and getting the rest of this done while this is still accessible. I know we have most of the materials. Explosives-wise, we might run out putting all of this in because I don't have any badwater because I haven't built another pump. That was another one of the things I really needed to do was add another... Well, not add another whole bunch of stuff. Someone said I needed to have paper over here for the explosives factory. You don't need paper to make dynamite. That is a water beaver's thing. But before I completely write off what you suggested, I did want to check the recipes and make sure the fireworks didn't need it either, which they don't. I believe I replied to a comment from this person and said, yeah, okay, we'll put that in, but they can't use it, so obviously that is not a thing that we're going to need to do now. Okay. Oh, I forgot to connect this path. That would have been an annoying thing to discover. Alright, so this can't reach there. We already know that's fine. Now, I know the original dam was set up to, you know, have flow through here, but I'm pretty sure having this open 3 wide is going to make that a little redundant. Let's K for kaboom this. Okay, so we can consider that to be done. This bit here definitely should be blown up. Definitely should be blown up. I don't know that they can actually get to the rest of this without it being a whole thing. That's going to open up here. Let's make those doubles. Might as well just lay this all out right now so that doesn't become a problem. And then everything else can be filled in. So let's do that. Let's make sure this is set up best way possible that we know how. Okay, that's all good to go. Alright, so that's going to get me pretty much exactly where I want to go. Feeling good about that. Leave this cavern open. What's going to be the best way? Probably, honestly, just to get the beavers down there in the first place. Because this shouldn't flood. Operative term, shouldn't flood. So we will see. Get somebody down in there. Get somebody down in here. That should allow them to build most of that. If I can get the rest of this out of here. I got 3-something days. We got 2 scrap metal here. I've got 21 here. They will only do 1 at a time. Which means that this one is probably still going to take the same amount of time to get rid of. But this one should be basically done. And this one will be constantly worked on. This one will be the backup, and it's 73. And I also don't need them to get rid of it. So I guess that's fine. How are we doing over here? Still have 36 dynamite left. That is going to be almost entirely... No, it's going to be definitely more than entirely consumed by putting that in. It's probably a little more important that I do this. Just so that can build up back here and we'll have a better idea of the flow situation. Yeah, everything else back here can easily be dealt with later. I just want this to actually be viable. And I actually need this to be popped in sooner rather than later. We got 3 days. Tell you what, let's... No, that was somehow the same one I would just... Alright. I'm going to pause. Probably all of those should give me... Oh, yeah, there you go, turn around. Should give me a nice safety margin. I just need to make sure this is able to be dealt with. Then maybe I just leave this in place because it supports what's above it. And we don't worry about it. Alright, so we got 14 scrap metal here. That should be gone inside of 3 days. As long as I can get dynamite in here, then we'll be okay. And as long as I didn't miscalculate, by miscalculate I mean guess wrong, how much water is going to come through here, it should not cause an issue with flooding. And then I can put one more badwater pump right here if I build some... Yeah, that should be okay if I build some scaffolding. Yeah, because I'd just take this set of platforms out. Yeah, it'd be supported. It'd be alright. Ah, I forgot about this. What can they even access here, though? That should be enough, right? Okay. They're not going to go through these, so we don't want that to be... Oh, I really hope nobody gets stranded in here. That is always a frustrating possibility. I'm afraid if I leave and go do something else, I'm going to forget, but I do want to still check on... Yeah, okay. Good progress here. That is somehow all marked okay. This cannot access back here, but... Don't forget, we have this amazing tool called Platform that we can use to give this access to the other side. And then eventually, obviously, put some lumberjacks on here. That's going to make it possible for us to plant a bunch more stuff. Make sure this is all marked for cutting. And be in a pretty good... Why is there just a gash here? Be in a pretty good position. Okay, so this is still holding decently well. Good to know. Okay, what's the situation looking like over here? All right, 1.5 days, 1 scrap metal, so that means they're just about done, and they are. Got 25 dynamite left. Okay, they've just blocked themselves from getting over there, which I guess is fine. I just need this done, and then I can detonate this, and we won't have to worry about it ever again, except if this person wants to get blown up. That's on them. All right. You have departed the construction zone. We are okay for kabooming. If you get blown up because you turned around, well, first of all, don't do that. There's a lot of literature that tells you why that's not a good idea. There you go. Nobody died. So, now that that is taken care of, let's replace there and there. Let's take that out. Should be absolutely no problem whatsoever. We'll pop in a second badwater pump. That should being the operative term, be exactly what we need. Alright, so this is at that same level there. That's at that same level there. That's fine. That is what I wanted. I've got 24 dynamite left. I really should be using it here, but I don't have a good way to get down. Well, I only have 1 day anyway, so it's probably going to be something we have to do next time. Alright. Here is what we will do for that last day. So I'm going to have them come in here, assuming they can do all of this in 1 day. Come in here, take care of this. Why did I hit pause? I meant to hit 3. There we go. Because if this... Well, I can already do that. that done, and that done, we are going to be in good shape. This can be the same kind of deal. So, I think, finally, that is going to get us in a good spot. Like I said, we can build from above. It can be a really stupid setup. I don't particularly care either way. I just want it to work. As long as they get all of these in place, then we will be good. Alright, you got one there, and then you got these two, and then this one plus one more. That'll get us basically everything. But these aren't mission critical before the badwater comes back in, because I know they won't have to actually be able to get into it. These guys have nothing else to do because I cut off their access. That is fine. Go do something else. Still running about -10 on the jobs. Alright, so they didn't get to the rest of this, but that is okay. I'm going to say time to disconnect. Not worry about it, because they can get to this from the other side. That's still allowed. And then we'll blow this up so we can check the flow through here, and then I imagine that is going to be fine. And these throttling valves are not part of the mess that is these badwater drains, bad tide drains. So that should not make any impact whatsoever. Just going to have to let it be what it's going to be. Alright, so we got beavers coming over here to take care of these guys. I guess that doesn't really matter. These can be separate. Let's set this off from the middle here. Ah! I was not expecting there to be a hole here. Which, you know, isn't really a problem. It's just kind of weird. Let's put that there. Alright, so we're about to have badwater come in. And these are, as a reminder, currently set to 1 cubic meter per second each. So we're going to have that coming in. This will take a lot longer. So if this already overwhelms just with that one source, then we'll know we really need to add something else. And it's looking like that might actually be okay. It's kind of inconsistent. We still don't have... We're about to. Alright, so that's... Yeah, that is very quickly going to be way too much. Most important thing is that this is still okay. But that's rapidly filling up. Let's change this to... I'm going to set it to not unlimited. I'm going to set it to 2, because theoretically, even though there isn't a difference mechanically with the actual hole size, I don't want this to be set to unlimited when we have everything, you know, else blasted out. I hope that makes sense. Now that is 2 cubic meters per second. We got this coming through here. Levels are looking, as far as I can tell, they're looking normal. As long as this doesn't... Okay, it's still going up. Well... Yeah, that's going to be a problem. I was kind of afraid of that. Well... Let's prepare. I know we can't do anything about this right now, but let's prepare. Put in 2 more of these tunnels, which, again, they cannot get to, and that is, you know, it's a good thing they can't, but... take that path out. This will still be okay, because... Oh, come on. Because this can't flood to this level, it'll just spill over the top here. It's still going to make a lot of power once this manages to get its full flow over the top. Yeah, I should have done maybe a little bit more work figuring this out first. Well, is what it is. We did something, right? We did something. That's what matters. I think this is going to need maybe more than 4. It might actually need all 5 of these set to the same kind of standard there. Well, at least this isn't flooding. That was one of the concerns that I had, was that this might flood, and it has not. So that's to be celebrated. I think we should be okay to continue putting dirt in here. And this is going to be pretty solid, but I need them to be able to get back in here to fix this, so maybe we don't want to do everything yet. Let's build from the middle. If we're sure that this is not going to be a problem as we continue putting tops on this, what we could do, because I am going to have a top on this. We know the level shouldn't ever get higher than that. We hope it doesn't. I guess we'll have to see during a bad tide just how bad it gets, but I think understanding how this works now would not be a bad thing for us to get this popped in and then put a top over this entire thing like so. I'm pretty optimistic this should be okay. And then they should be able to build, again, not all of this, but they should be able to build a decent bit of it without it being a huge, huge pain in the butt. We'll just put that bit in there. I can have them walk down on top of this when that's done. And maybe build backwards here, but again, I do have to maintain access to these tunnels. So we'll see. Once I am pretty certain that is okay, we can actually start building up in the middle inside and restore the whole geometry of this. We also want to maintain spillway access for the clean water. I have to decide how that's going to get funneled down in here. Accidental neat angle there. See, I just don't really know. I don't really know exactly what I want to do here. I am pretty sure I'm safe to put in like the very outside bits here. Just continue slowly building things up. Just let them do what they got to do. That's about all I can. It'd be really nice if I had a way to understand exactly how much throughput I need, but now I have to wait till we have another drought, which could be a while. At least we are pumping bad water. At least we're pumping bad water, and we have twice as many of these as before, and we probably should have some more, but we're not quite there yet. Oh, this wasn't supposed to be turned on. It's supposed to have only one of these operating, because I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. I need them to have bad water here for the explosives factory. That is, that's an important thing. Okay, so now we have a total storage capacity of just over 4,000, which for the amount of beavers we have might not be enough. Again, I'm struck with the what in the world do I do with all this space? Itis. Well, the boring safe answer is build more tanks, which I suppose we probably should do anyway. We can get those moved somewhere else if we have to later. This is coming along nicely. We just don't have enough beavers to man all this, and it hasn't been an issue with actually having resources yet. But I do need to make sure that's all set up. That's all marked for cutting, which it is not. Now it is. Okay, this I might want to keep for a path, so let's go ahead and put that path in place. Let's get that connected. Just, I know it theoretically shouldn't matter, but now it's connected. So maybe, okay, these guys are done. There's nothing else for them to do. Maybe next episode we're going to have to actually put in a big housing complex. I'd like to keep all the housing in the same general area. I just don't really have a great solution for that. Alright, so last thing we'll do today. First of all, let's just slide this over. Got a triple there. I do have enough dynamite to do... Yeah. To do one of these, I'm going to put a triple here. That's going to give us 9 more beds, which should help us a lot. I just need them to come in here and actually build it. I know that's not connected pathwise. We'll fix that in just a moment. Boy, is that ugly. It's alright. It's not permanent. This is just a survival tactic now. Okay, boom. Triple. Right there. Put in one of these that can cover both of those. And that'll help. Again, it's not the perfect solution, but it is the one that we have access to right now. This has no ability to get down there, so I might as well pop in a staircase, and that one will allow them to do basically all of this. Alright, I feel better about that. Hopefully, now that the Ant Farm series is done, I'll have a little bit more time, mental energy, etc. to really put a lot more into this one being better. It's been a very, very busy month since this game went into 1.0, and I've got so much else going on outside of YouTube you would not believe. Maybe you would. I don't know, but this will be better, and I'm excited about the ideas I have for it. I just don't really know how to communicate them, so I hope I can bring the vision that I have to reality and show you guys some neat stuff. But that is going to be, you know, all we got time for today. I appreciate you guys following along with this series. I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate your patience as we figure out exactly what it is we're doing here. Like I said, I'm excited about what this can be, and I hope I can manage to make it work. But of course, the people who support the channel are the ones who make all this possible. Beard Booster list, you've seen it a billion times. Well, maybe you haven't. Maybe this is the first video you've ever seen on this channel. And if that's the case, then those are the folks who contribute, so I don't have to have sponsors. I don't have to do brain rot edits. I don't have to do all this other nonsense that I'd rather not do. I just want to play the Beaver game and have a good time with you guys. So those folks make it possible for me to do that. And truly, without them, I do not think I could still be doing YouTube. But I always appreciate you, whether you're on that list or not. I really enjoy the chance to get to just spend about an hour a day having some fun with the beavers, and hopefully it is of some benefit to you as well. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.